morning all. Good morning. Thank you so much. I would like to first thank IPTA and associated organizations to give me an opportunity to speak in front of you and share my thoughts. I'm privileged to be here and sharing the dais with some of the esteemed leaders from paper industry. I just want to start with a small quiz. Can somebody guess how long a conventional paper making technology has been in existence in the world? Any guesses? You saw somebody already talked about 400 years, our conventional paper making. But can somebody guess how long this industry has been in existence?
1500.
Yeah, who said 2000? He gets a prize. I think it's as old as Ajanta paintings. The first ever documented paper making technology was invented in China in 105 AD. They were making paper out of textiles waste. So, it's really happy to see that you are not only growing an industry which is progressive and which is need of the hour today, but you are also preserving a tradition which has been a cornerstone of human culture, communication and education. So a round of applause for all of you for preserving the tradition. See, I think many of the speakers who talked about the opportunity ahead of us is massive. I think we are the fastest growing paper making country in the world. But today I'm going to talk about three things. One is IPTA's journey, an acknowledgement to the IPTA's leadership. Second one is a quick reflection of what has been the last 20 years for this industry, and how have we come thus far, and what is the next 20 years that is holding for us in future. Let me kind of, whatever search I did, IPTA started this journey about 20 years back with 10-member team. And today I was told that there are about 2,500 people, members, part of IPTA. And that's a 2,400% increase in participation of IPTA. Any growing industry needs its support system. What I mean by that is you need cheerleaders, you also need somebody to represent you well in the government organizations to get you the right support system. And IPTA has been doing that role tremendously well, and I wish success. Can we acknowledge IPTA and its leadership for the industry, please? So, today, our 25 million ton capacity is just below China, US, and Germany and Japan. Or we are very close to Germany and Japan, probably ahead of them now. So if you look at in 2014, looking back, where were we 10 years ago? Any guesses what was the volume that we were producing 10 years ago?
8 million.
Yeah, you are right, absolutely right. It was about 13 million tons. So you have simply doubled as an industry in the last 10 years. The second point, if you go further 10 years behind, in 2005, can somebody guess what would have been the capacity India had for paper making? Absolutely right, it was around 7 million tons. So if you reflect back in the last 20 years, it's a 3.5 times increase in capacity. So if we have done it already 3.5 times, the remaining 20 years to come can be easily 3.5 times or more than 3.5 times. And it's going to be definitely more than 3.5 times. I'll give you some logic. So today, before I talk about tomorrow, today where are we? We are at 25 million tons and roughly about a $10 billion business in India. And when you kind of compare, US, the value of the industry is about $61 billion. When you compare the Euro, it's about $75 billion. And when you compare China, it's a $225 billion business in paper industry. And I just want to tell you that while we are happy with $25 million capacity, China is today producing about 100 million tons capacity and paper. So it's important for us to see ahead and where we are today. Let's kind of paint a picture of what is tomorrow looking for us. I think we are at a juncture where everything is going good for us. When I say everything, I want to tell you the demographic dividend is absolutely paying good for us. The middle class is growing extremely well. And there are innovations happening in consumer goods industry. In no other market it's doing as much as it is being innovated in India. Whether it is quick commerce or e-commerce, they are all doing very well. Particularly if you look at the quick commerce, we are innovating much faster than the rest of the world, and people are following what could we learn from the quick commerce industry. So they are definitely going to give all of you in the paper industry more opportunity. And Mr. Goyal painted very clearly, this industry is largely relying upon packaging, and packaging is undergoing a transformation across the industry, so there is going to be more growth. The second point is the next 20 years, let's look at the population. We are already world's largest, most populated country. But still, can anybody guess what's going to be the population in 2044 in India? Yeah, absolutely. 1.65 billion. We are going to add additional 250 million into our country. That's a 15% growth. So whatever we are going to do, if I take the same per capita consumption of paper, 4 million tons is required just for catering to the people that we are going to have in our country. So clearly there is a massive opportunity ahead of us. Let me now tell you how do we capitalize on these opportunities going forward in future. In my mind, there are three important activities we as an industry has to undertake. One is innovation, innovation, innovation. To give an example, today, paper, how do you expand the horizons of paper applications beyond what it is today? I just googled what are the new applications that are coming in paper. People are talking about biosensor, health and wellness being driven by paper industry. How many of us are looking ahead of unconventional application from paper beyond what we are doing today? The second I want to kind of tell you is very clearly, wood is in short supply in our country, and can we substitute whatever wood packaging that we have? And there were some good examples during COVID. Some of you have already developed Jaina packaging and others in terms of medical beds substitution. How are we expanding the paper application beyond its conventional use? Also, if you look at the future, we are going to export a lot of automobiles and engineering goods, including defense, which all require heavy goods exports. There is still some partial application of wood packaging there. Is there an opportunity to replace wood packaging with scientifically designed high performance paper? The second one, we are already in the top 3 league for paper production, but we don't have self-reliance on fibers. And that is a big threat for us. It's an opportunity as well as threat. I just want to give 3 thoughts on how do we become self-reliant on fibers. One is, can we adopt technology to move towards more performance with less fiber? And if you look at the delta of the paper that are being developed in Europe, the average GSM for corrugating medium, they have gone as low as 90. Yeah, and with the same performance or better performance than what we are doing here. So how are we going to do better performance papers with less fiber? And one of the important aspect of that is creating appropriate business model of performance based selling. I think educating the buyers with appropriate value-based commercial equations rather than selling the paper with per kilo and trivializing and commoditizing the paper. Yeah. The second route is truly in terms of stepping up our collection and recycling and circularity of paper. Today, India is collecting about 45% of the paper back into its system. But I want to tell you, in India, we are doing better than paper in plastic. 90% of PET bottles are coming back into the loop. Is there anything we can learn from PET? Also, if you look at the world, Sweden is collecting 91% of the paper back. So how are we strengthening our recycling systems to bring our self-reliance on fiber? Because these fibers are wasted opportunity for making you convert into your own boxes. Yeah. And the last one is truly a reforestation. Can the industry come together, truly create opportunities for us to reforest? That's a seed we have to sow now for us to reap benefits 20 years later. Yeah. So moving on to, I just want to kind of, these are 3 points I just repeat. What will take us closer to China is innovation, and self-reliance on paper. The third bit is we have to benchmark for our competitiveness globally. That can, because while still the world is moving towards a big U-turn of globalization to deglobalization, but very clearly people will still be benchmarking about our efficiency, our paper making technology with the world. For us to take this opportunity, we have to start benchmarking ourselves with the global price and global technology. So embracing technology is the absolute need of the hour. I'll call out some of this. Efficiency improvement, and how do you take biomass and self-electricity generation are opportunities that we can definitely move forward. Water conservation, and we can definitely save a lot, and water conservation is part of the 5 trillion economic journey that India has outlined. There are definitely closed loop systems that we all can adapt to more than what we are doing today. And carbon neutral production, I think just to kind of tell you carbon neutrality, we think that it's 2070, it's some time away. But if you see many of the brand owners, what are they talking about today? They are all moving from basic level of table stake sustainability into futuristic sustainability, which is about carbon neutrality and GHG reduction. They are not only talking about their own factories, people have been very aggressive, but they are also starting to measure how their ecosystem partners and supply partners' footprints are in the marketplace. So clearly, driving the carbon neutrality and more efficient way of making paper is absolutely the need of the hour. While I talked about the opportunity and what are the 3 steps that we should be taking about, I just want to tell you what can trip us apart. It's important to understand the watch out. The watch out is very clearly some of the macroeconomic situations and geopolitical changes we have to navigate and build sustainability of this business and more creative in alternative sourcing of materials, including raw materials of chemicals coming to us. But do not delay the 3 things that we discussed. Do not delay innovating in the industry. Do not delay in circularity and establishing self-reliance in fiber, and do not delay the whole competitiveness through technology. Yeah. And finally, it's going to be next 2 days. I saw the agenda very, very packed and very, very fulfilling. And I really, wish you all happy learning and more collaboration and more sharing. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.